Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, it's me. I'm back, but I guess you already knew that. And it is Monday, August 17th. I had to think about that for a minute. August 17th, and it is 9:27 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's get into the news. All right. First, I have a couple people to thank. Via Coffee, Jay Bell and Lisa Farmer, thank you so much for your donation. Very much appreciated. And via snail mail, and you know how much I love to receive snail mail, Sharon D. from Massachusetts, she wrote me a lovely letter and donation. And also, O. Williams from Michigan sent a beautiful card and note and donation. And thank you guys so much. I love to get stuff via snail mail to see people's handwriting, and it just gives me a sense of who you are and what you're about, and I like that. So anyway, and also I do want to add that we are completely demonetized, so the only money this channel gets and is through coffee donations or Patreon. So you know, if you enjoy this channel and wish to donate, it would certainly help us out, because it's few and far between right now because of everything. So many people are out of work and experiencing hard times because of COVID, and I get that. Now, never want anyone to ever feel guilty or obligated in any way. You are always welcome here, always. So I know that it's important for you to have enough for you. So yeah, I get that. So, but if you enjoy the channel and do have, you know, the ability to sponsor us via Patreon, even if it's just $2 or $3 a month, it all helps. So thank you so much. And let's get into the news. Now, the first thing that I want to touch on here is the death of Robert Trump. A little bit odd, if you ask me. Now, I want to just touch on some things here that seem a little bit odd. And the whole death of Robert Trump is odd to me. So I'm not saying that he's not dead. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. It's just odd because, you know, I really never heard President Trump talk about his brother much. And then all of a sudden he's talking about his brother, and, you know, his brother's so ill. And then he goes to visit his brother, and then the next day his brother's gone. And his brother was tweeting on Twitter, and some really interesting stuff. Now, I've heard people say, no, that was a parody account. I'm not so sure. It said Robert Trump, president's brother, and it had a blue check mark. Now, there are a lot of fake Robert Trump, you know, profiles out there, but that one that was tweeting that was then, you know, I guess Twitter just, what do you call it, suspended it, or I don't know if they erased it or suspended it or what they did, but it's not there now, which I thought was very odd. So let's just take a look at this. All right. Robert Trump, the president's younger brother, dead at 71. Now, there was a lot of anomalies around his age. Like, I think it was reported at 74, it's been reported at 72, and it's been reported at 71. My understanding is that he was 71, but just a few days away from turning 72. So he was 71, just days shy of 72. So, and this is a picture of both of them. Apparently, Donald Trump was very, very close to his brother. His brother, you know, at one time, and I don't know if this contributed to his death at all, but I know his brother did struggle with alcoholism, and he had another brother as well, which is why Trump is so adamant that he will never touch alcohol. But interesting, because he, you know, I've heard different things, that he had a fall and then had brain bleeds because of that. That's entirely possible. Anyway, New York, President Trump's younger brother, Robert Trump, a businessman known for an even keel that seemed almost incompatible with the family name, died Saturday night after being hospitalized in New York, the president said in a statement. He was 71. The president visited his brother at a New York City hospital on Friday after White House officials said he had become seriously ill. Officials did not immediately release a cause of death. It is with heavy heart I share my wonderful brother Robert peacefully passed away tonight, Donald Trump said in a statement. He was not just my brother, he was my best friend. He will be greatly missed, but we will meet again. His memory will live on in my heart forever. Robert, I love you. Rest in peace. The youngest of the Trump siblings had remained close to the 74-year-old president and as recently as June filed a lawsuit on behalf of the Trump family that unsuccessfully sought to stop publication of a tell-all book by the president's niece, Mary. Robert Trump had reportedly been hospitalized in the intensive care unit for several days that same month. Now, let me come down here. Both longtime businessmen, Robert and Donald, had strikingly different personalities. Donald Trump once described his younger brother as much quieter and easygoing than I am, and the only guy in my life whom I ever call honey. Robert Trump began his career on Wall Street, working in corporate finance, but later joined the family business, managing real estate holdings as a top executive in the Trump Organization. When he worked in the Trump Organization, he was known as the nice Trump. Gwenda Blair, a Trump family biographer, told the Associated Press Robert was the one people would try to get to intervene if there was a problem. Robert Stewart Trump was born in 1948, the youngest of the New York City real estate developer Fred Trump's 5 children. The president, more than 2 years older than Robert, and that is not your cat. If you are looking around and wondering if that's your cat howling, it isn't. It's mine. Sammy's fine. He's had treats, he's had supper, and he's had lots of belly rubs today, so he's fine. Anyway, where was I? Hang on here. The president, more than 2 years older than Robert, admittedly bullied his brother in their younger years, even as he praised his loyalty and laid-back demeanor. I think it must have been hard to have me for a brother, but he's never said anything about it, and we're very close, Donald Trump wrote in his 1987 bestseller, The Art of the Deal. Robert gets along with almost everyone, he added, which is great for me since I sometimes have to be the bad guy. In the 1980s, Donald Trump tapped Robert Trump to oversee an Atlantic City casino project, calling him the perfect fit for the job. While it cannibalized his other casinos, though, he pointed the finger of blame at Robert, said Blair, author of The Trumps, 3 Generations That Built an Empire. When the slot machines jammed the opening weekend at the Taj Mahal, he very specifically and furiously denounced Robert, and Robert walked out and never worked for his brother again, Blair said. It's interesting to me why the AP News feels that it's necessary to put all this into what is essentially an obituary. Why? Really think that's necessary? Because I don't. And I think it's cruel. And people have been railing on Trump over the last few days after his brother just died, which I think is doubly downright despicable. I don't even know how to label that behavior, but absolutely callous and uncaring. Anyway, and this, what does this belong? Why is this in this article? Why is it necessary? Why do they have to drag that out? Why can't they just do an obituary? If they wanted to write about it, they could have written about it long before now. It's just, to me, this is disgusting. A Boston University graduate, Robert Trump later managed the Brooklyn portion of his father Fred Trump's real estate empire, which was eventually sold. Once a regular bold face in Manhattan's social pages, Robert Trump had kept a lower profile in recent years. He was not a newsmaker, Blair said. Before divorcing his first wife, Blaine Trump, more than a decade ago, Robert Trump had been active on Manhattan's Upper East Side charity circuit. He avoided the limelight during his elder brother's presidency, having retired to the Hudson Valley, but he described himself as a big supporter of the White House run in a 2016 2016 interview with the New York Post. "I support Donald 1,000%, Robert Trump said. In early March of 2020, he married his longtime girlfriend, Anne Marie Palin. The eldest Trump sibling and Mary's father, Fred Trump Jr., struggled with alcoholism and died in 1981 at the age of 43. The president's surviving siblings, including Elizabeth Trump Grau and Marianne Trump Berry, a retired federal appeals judge. Authors Michael Kranish and Mark Fisher described Robert Trump as soft-spoken but cerebral. In Trump Revealed, the definitive biography of the 45th president, he lacked Donald's charismatic showmanship, and he was happy to leave the bravado to his brother, but he could show flashes of Trump temper. So, yeah, there you go. That's what AP had to say. I think they could have left out some of that. And let's go back here and look at this. Now, guess what has been trending on Twitter and everywhere else? And you're probably aware of this by now. It's wrong Trump, which is meaning basically that, oh, gee, shucks, the wrong Trump died. Now, how absolutely, I don't know, amoral do you have to be wishing that it was Donald that died instead of his brother? Like, what is wrong with people, honestly? I mean, I'm not a fan of Obama. I've never been a fan of Obama. I would never have voted for him, even probably with a gun to my head. Well, maybe with a gun to my head, I don't know. But not an Obama fan. And yet, I have never wished him harm. And I don't know of many people that have, actually. Now you hear of more people wishing him harm, that it's all come out about the plan to ruin America and what he has done to America. But yeah, this is unprecedented hatred toward a sitting president, a duly elected president, and it's completely uncalled for. And the people that are complaining the most, Q and Trump told us to keep an eye on them because, it's the one that screams the loudest, right? It's the loudest voices that are usually the most guilty. And we're seeing that. People are just, I've never seen a human being bullied and harassed like Trump has been. I've never seen that happen to another human being, not at that level. And I don't even know how he's been able to maintain his sanity, honestly. So this says, unbelievably disgusting, wrong Trump trending after Robert Trump, president's younger brother, dies. Now, this was from yesterday. And let's come down here. Shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump announced the passing of his brother Robert, 3 years his younger, the hashtag Wrong Trump was launched on Twitter, quickly climbing to the top and drawing the ire of conservatives. Gee, I wonder why. I think it would draw the ire of any decent human being. There's lots of people on the side of the Democrats that I really don't like, but I'm not wishing them dead. I'm wishing that they get, they receive their justice for what they've done, but I'm not wishing them dead. I don't get this. But anyway, the president announced the passing of his brother Robert, also a real estate developer and business executive, on Saturday night. It is with heavy heart that I share that my wonderful brother Robert peacefully passed away tonight. He was not just my brother, he was my best friend, Trump said in a short statement. And down here, it says, President Trump's brother Robert has died. Attached is POTUS's statement. And this is what he said, and we've already read this, but it's sad. It says, his memory will live on in my heart forever. Robert, I love you. Rest in peace. I feel so sorry for the president right now because he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. His enemies have not let up to let him grieve, which any decent human beings would do. They would let him grieve. But oh, no. They seem to double down on their attacks, knowing he's vulnerable. They're like a bunch of vultures. That's what they are. Sickening. The announcement comes just a day after the president paid a visit to his brother, who was being treated at a New York City medical center. Trump reportedly spent around 45 minutes inside the facility before hopping on a helicopter and flying to Bedminster, New Jersey. Cher says she hopes ground opens under Trump and we never see his face again after Gettysburg speech suggestion. Little was known about Robert's condition and the nature of his sickness. After leaving the hospital, Trump told the media that he had a wonderful brother and that they have a great relationship for a long time. The news of Robert passing quickly spread on Twitter, with many sending prayers and condolences to the president's family. However, not everyone was ready to cast aside political animosity as Wrong Trump shot to the top of Twitter's U.S. trends in no time. And of course, I bet you it had some help. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm sure it did. Jack. And this by Young Blue says there's 1,000 people plus dying a day. Some people mad. Wrong Trump is trending. Well, guess what? Yeah, he doesn't care. I think it's disgusting, really. Yeah, there's people dying every day. This is the president of the United States, and his brother, who he loved, just died. And people are wishing the ground opens up and swallows him. Wrong Trump trending. His enemies have not let up one iota to let the man grieve. It's worse than disgusting. And this Lady Dawn M says, I'm over here cackling at all the snowflake MAGAs crying because Wrong Trump is trending. Go find an effing safe space, you bunch of whiners. F your feelings. Well, no, really, tell us how you really feel. Yeah, and it says Trump supporters were up in arms over the trend. Former Republican congressional candidate from California, Deanna Lorraine, called it unbelievably disgusting, and it is. Says unbelievably disgusting that Wrong Trump is trending when the president's close brother, Robert Trump, just passed away today. This is the vile, shameless left whose souls have been eaten away by their master Satan. Prayers up for real Donald Trump. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, their souls have been eaten away by their master Satan. Well, it sure seems like that because they seem like they don't have any moral compass. They are completely devoid of what makes one human. I would never, if it was my worst enemy in the entire world, if I knew that somebody in their family had died, I would do nothing to harm them or cause them additional pain, even though they might be an enemy to me. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. And it shows you exactly the caliber of people that we're dealing with here. No wonder we're in a war. So one commenter went as far as to say, that she would now jump aboard the Trump train after seeing Wrong Trump trending. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They overplay their cards every time. They overplay their cards and they push people. Instead of drawing them to the Democrats, it pushes them away from the Democrats. You know, people are looking at these, and some of these people are longtime Democrats, and they're thinking, what? Was I really ever a part of this? I mean, the Democrats are not like the Democrats of even 10 years ago or 15 years ago. They're not. They're a whole different animal. And yes, that's the correct term, animal. They are wanting to pull us deeper and deeper into socialism, deeper into anarchy and chaos. They want to burn America to the ground. They've stated that. What a noble cause they serve. You know, I always heard that it takes a skilled carpenter to build a barn, but any old ass can kick it down. Well, we've got the donkey, the sign of the Democrats. The skilled carpenters are the other side. Yeah, it takes a skilled carpenter to build. Any ass can kick it down. Right. And that's what they're doing. They're kicking with all their might. And they're destroying everything. Everything they touch, they destroy. Every city they run has been destroyed. You know, I didn't plan on voting until I saw, okay, we just Well, did I just read that? You know, I didn't plan on voting until I saw wrong Trump trending, but now I'm all aboard the Trump train. F you sick people and your feelings. The fact that wrong Trump is trending after the president's brother died tells you everything you need to know about the left, another tweeted. I would concur with that. Charlie Kirk said, the fact that the wrong Trump is trending after the president's brother died tells you everything you need to know about the left. They don't care about people. They only care about power. No, they care about power and they care about money. Those two things. If power came without money, they wouldn't be interested. They want power and they want money. Pray for the president and his family. And I would ask you, if you are a believer, please pray for the president and his family. They need that. They need our prayers. They are running this country. They are duly elected. They are sitting in a position that we all should respect, regardless of whether or not we like the person in the office. We need to respect the office. People just don't seem to get that. I didn't like Obama, but I respected the office. And therefore, I would never have written something like, oh, I hope somebody kills him, or I hope you know. No. I mean, really, what's wrong with people? In Washington Post, known for making eyebrow-raising political statements with obituaries in the past, came under fire for Robert Trump's, which mentioned his legal wranglings with niece Mary Trump over her tell-all memoir in the headline. Robert Trump, younger brother of President Trump, who filed lawsuit against niece, dies at 71. The title blasted by Trump supporters as tone-deaf reads, hang on here, there is literally nothing lower than editorializing an obituary headline. And I would agree. This is by John Brown. And yeah, look at their headline. Robert Trump, younger brother of President Trump, who filed lawsuit against niece, dies at 71. Wow. Have you ever seen anybody else's obituaries read like that? And yes, this is an actual obituary, because it's in the obituaries. Yeah. Tone deaf. I think it's a little worse than being just tone deaf. But that's the Washington Post for you. This headline, on an obituary no less, is sick. WAPO should be ashamed of itself, Senator Ted Cruz tweeted. This headline of an obituary no less is sick. Washington Post should be ashamed of itself. Robert Trump, okay, and this is the same one that is above. Robert Trump, younger brother of President Trump, who filed lawsuit against niece, dies at 71. What's wrong with these people? Really? Are there no real journalists left in the world? I know there's no editors. I mean, we've already determined that they're all together, probably all in the same place on an island somewhere, drinking, what? I don't know, virgin pina coladas? I don't know what they're drinking, but they're somewhere because there's no editors left in the world, and that is my pet peeve. So I think, probably all the real journalists are there with them. The journalists and editors just yucking it up on some island. I don't know, but this is not a journalist. If you write stuff like this, that you're not a journalist. I don't know what you are, but you're not a journalist. So anyway, let's go on and let's look at this. Now, this is a fake profile. Fake, I tell you. Sure, it has a picture of Robert Trump, and it says Robert Trump at Bum and Son, and it says next president of the USA. Well, this is obviously not Robert Trump's page. Here he says, COVID finally hitting his family. Did Trump use taxpayer dollars to pay himself for the use of the room, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not even going to get into this because I don't even want to give it, and there he's claiming that, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is drunk after Trump won. Who cares? Who cares? If she's not in her official duty at that time, she's allowed to have a drink, really. She's an adult. And then look at this picture. Now, I'm not sure who this guy is, but it's a picture of Trump kissing his butt. So that is a fake one, and that is still up on Twitter. Yeah, nobody has taken that down, have they? Gee, yeah. And let me see now. It says there's nobody following, and it only has, he's not following anyone, and he has 2 followers. So what's this all about? Who are his followers? Condor Mao and Patriot MAGA, who probably, I would assume, thought that this might be a real, might be the real Robert Trump. Well, yeah, obviously not. Don't think he would be writing those things about his brother. So let's take another look here, and let's look at this. And here is another fake account. Again, still up, 50.2 thousand tweets, Battle Street, Michigan. And this one looks like it's all gung-ho Trump. It says, MAGA Trump 2020, liberalism is a mental disorder, deplorable, NRA, deplorable, NRA, boycott the NFL, America first, I don't play with, I don't play with Obama supporters. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And so this is another fake, still up. So, yeah, and now this one is posting things that are pro-Trump. So this could be a Trump supporter that did this. I don't know. But let's get out of here. But I'm just letting you know that there are 2 fake accounts that are still up on Twitter. They seem to be perfectly fine with Twitter. But the one that many believe was the real Robert Trump is now gone from Twitter. Gee, wonder why? So let's look at this, and this is the final thing I do believe that I have on, no it isn't, but it's getting there. All right. And now, since his Twitter was taken down, I have been looking all over the internet. I even went to the Wayback Machine to look at his Twitter page before it was taken down, and I couldn't even get to it by the Wayback Machine. It just sat and spun, and I left it open for like an hour, and it still didn't pull up. So I closed out of everything, and I went back in, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and it didn't come up. I tried it again. I was determined. Nope. Sat and spun. Somebody doesn't want us to see what was written on that account. Now, don't everybody write to me and say, well, that's just a fake account. I don't care. Obviously, it bothered Twitter because they pulled it down immediately, right after he died. It was gone. It was Gandhi. All right, so some smart person made, an image of this, and I'm so glad. And the weird thing is that right before he died, I was thinking, I'm going to have to go in and screenshot all of those tweets because I wanted to bring them to you guys because I thought that they were quite fascinating. So that was my plan. And I heard that he had died. And then I went to because I thought, I better get these quick. And it was down. So that's how fast it happened. And I never did get to screenshot it, but some smart person did. So that's what we're going to look at here. So this is the account that many believed was actually Robert Trump. Whether it was or whether it wasn't, I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. But sure made Twitter nervous. We know that. And why? Now, I did follow it, and it says Uncle Rob Trump, the president's brother. And let me see here. Can I make this bigger? Not really. Okay. Well, I know you tiny phone people will be mad at me because I can't make this bigger for you, but let me read what is there. I think I can read what's there. It's very tiny for me even. Robert Trump, that moment when the media is obsessed with the health of the president's brother, but not batting an eye at Biden's deteriorating condition. Well, that's true, isn't it? Nobody questions Biden's deteriorating position or worries about his health or demands that he has a competency test, which he needs desperately, because I think we're all quite aware that he's not competent. And let's go to the next. You notice how as soon as Uncle Rob gets on Twitter and starts dropping these bombshells, now the media is reporting that I'm seriously ill. Give me a break. Interesting. Interesting. And it's true. As soon as he got on Twitter and started dropping all this stuff, then all of a sudden we hear he's seriously ill, and now we've heard he's died. So what is that about? I don't know. And let's go down to the next one. Media needs to calm the hell down. I'm fine. Are they trying to kill me? Interesting. And this was on the day that Donald Trump visited him. He seemed, now if this was him, he seemed fine. He said, looking forward to seeing you today, big bro. Then, I told you, Durham is coming. Now what that means, I don't know. And here he says, pray for Uncle Rob. Don't worry, Uncle Rob will be okay. Bill Gates will be in prison before the year is over. Crimes against humanity. On to the next. I'm not one to judge, but when the evil Clintons die, they'll be burning in hell. The Clintons are going to hell. Tomorrow is Durham Day. I've been telling y'all for a long time it's coming. Y'all ready for Assange to indict the entire Democratic Party? Tomorrow, you won't believe what's coming. Well, tomorrow, the next day he died. Or maybe he died the same day, I do believe, because he died the same day that Trump visited him, I believe. He died that night, which is odd. And it says, Obama is going to Gitmo. OMG, Durham is putting out indictments tomorrow. It's time. Justice is coming. Here's the next one. So what tea do you want to know about tonight, my people? And then it says, Barack Obama is gay. JFK Jr. is Q. And the next one, if I weren't the real Uncle Rob, Twitter would have banned me by now. I am Uncle Rob. And here he says, I'm drunk. And Katy Perry is a SLUT. I have never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke. Uh-oh, I drink Diet Coke. What? I resemble that remark. Okay, well, and then there is no such thing as a girly, lesbian. I don't want to get this banned. And Kamala ain't black. Oh, and just wait till I spill the beans on Michael Cohen. What else do we have here? It's honestly looking like Kamala isn't eligible to run. Then, and he was tweeting up a storm. He was tweeting up a storm. Josh, okay, what's this? When a leftist like my... Okay, it says, this is Josh, the buy Trump guy. When a leftist like my roommate is considering voting third party or Trump, you know the Democrats are in trouble. I would agree with that. And again, another tweet, should just call Biden Joe Spiden. He spied on my brother's campaign. Well, yes he did. And here, Kamala is not qualified to be vice president. No, literally, she's not qualified under the Constitution. She's not a natural-born citizen. Donald is absolutely correct. Then the next one. They did find some African-American DNA in Kamala Harris, but strangely enough, it came up in the computer as belonging to... I'm sorry, that just took me off guard here. Okay. They did find some African-American DNA in Kamala Harris, but strangely enough, it came up in the computer as belonging to Willie Brown. I'm sorry, that I just about lost it on that one. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, and here we go. When a Democrat says we're in this fight together, they can never even define or articulate what exactly is that they're fighting for. Yeah, that's true. And don't worry, Barack Obama, my brother will be visiting you in prison. Wouldn't want you to get depressed like Mishel. Also, Josh, the Buy Trump guy, says, when I'm elected to Congress, the child sex trafficking stops right here and stops right now. And Robert Trump says, is pedophilia a prerequisite to be part of the Democratic Party these days? Woo! Yeah. I was going to say nobody but him could get away with that, but I guess he didn't, because they did take it down right after he died. Not sure why. Could be all these comments. Anyway, and Robert Trump again, Donald is not a racist. I don't believe he is. I don't think he ever was. And Chinese virus will magically disappear after the November election. It's in the plan. Mark my words. Then I, with my great and unmatched wisdom, was totally correct about Kamala being Biden's VP pick long before anyone else. Yet the haters and losers will still doubt me. You will soon see that Uncle Rob is right about a lot of what's going on in the world. And the next one, just got some big news on JFK Jr. today. Something big is about to happen. And hashtag the Great Awakening. So he's adding to that. Now, whether this is the real Robert Trump, I don't know. But he's adding to that JFK is alive. JFK Jr. is alive. It's possible that he is. I don't know. I don't know one way or the other. I've seen both sides of the arguments, and there's good points on both sides. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Let's just put it that way. Like it wouldn't shock me, and I wouldn't fall over dead or anything. All right. Now, you see. Okay, now the next one, Kamala Harris was in on the Obama coup. She's going to jail too. Well, let's hope. And daily reminder, Barack Obama can still be impeached. He'll end up much worse than impeached before this is all over. And does anyone actually believe my brother partook in golden showers? He's a germaphobe. They got the wrong brother. Now, that's interesting. That's really interesting, because what he's suggesting is that he partakes in that. At least that's what I would assume from what he just wrote, because the other brother is dead, so he's the only other brother. All right, now Josh, the Buy Trump guy, can we get to 11,000 followers today after Twitter stole several hundred from me? I follow back. Then, Robert Trump again, if Kamala gets into the Oval, they're going to need to install knee pads onto the floor for when the world leaders come to visit. Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. And here is the next one. The official song of the Democratic Party is Live and Let Die. Sit by while thousands of babies are aborted and children are trafficked into sex slavery every day. That's a good one. That's a very good one. That was on August 13th. And this one, August 13th, on the birth certificate that was provided, she's listed as Caucasian. So Joe Biden was right. She ain't black. And on the birth certificate that was provided, she is listed as Caucasian. Well, he's actually got the birth certificate here. So that's interesting. Where would he possibly find a copy of her birth certificate? Don't know. And this, I'm not even convinced Kamala was born in the U.S. Where's the birth certificate? And who wants Uncle Rob to challenge the constitutionality of Kamala Harris being vice president? She is ineligible, and I will take this all the way to the Supreme Court. Then, Kamala Harris is ineligible. Her parents were citizens of Jamaica and India at the time of her birth. And apparently, in order to be president or vice president, and in order to be vice president, you have to be eligible, actually able to be president should anything happen to the president. So her parents were not naturalized at the time of her birth, So she is ineligible from what I understand. And Robert Trump says, I'm not even convinced. Okay. And I think that might be it. There is more. There is a lot more, but it's probably lost forever now that Twitter, unless somebody can find it on the Wayback Machine, but I'm telling you, it wouldn't even pull up on there, which is really surprising because I use the Wayback Machine a lot and I've never had an issue, ever. That's the first time that something's just sat there and spun and it didn't matter. Didn't matter what day I went in, didn't matter what hour I went in, it just sat there and spun. So it could be, now that I think about it, could be that there are a lot of people that have the same idea that I do and are trying to access it, and it's just too many people and it's over, taxing the server. I don't know. But I guess when all this dies down a little, maybe somebody can get in. I have not been able to yet, but I intend on continuing to try. All right, so that is that, and let's come up here and down here. Okay, and I pulled this out, but we've already read it in the ones that we've read. Tomorrow, you won't believe what is coming. And here it says, breaking, Robert Trump has died Saturday at a New York hospital, one day after the president flew to the city to meet with him. Okay, so he didn't die the same day that Trump met with him. He died the next day. And I'm so glad that Trump, had an opportunity to meet with him. From what I understand, whether this is true or not, don't run with this because it could be rumors. You never know. After someone dies like this, you often hear several things, and news outlets report several different things, and it's hard to ascertain. But from what I believe, he had brain bleeds, and that can take you very suddenly. I don't know. I think the whole thing is a little bit odd, but yeah. Now, this is the Washington Post article with the obituary. We've already kind of looked at that, so I don't need to flog a dead horse. But yeah, so we're going to move on from that now and get into other news. Some of you will say, oh, good. And some of you will say, oh, I wanted to hear more. It's always the way. People are always upset with me over something I've done or said. I try to have thick skin. Sometimes it gets, anyway. All right. JJ Truth says, I rest my case. And he's resting his case because of this. Walter Cronkite, whoever that is. I mean, I know Walter Cronkite, but says, and that's the way it is. Thousands of Seattle Democrats gather to demand mail-in voting because it's too dangerous to vote in person. And look at this mass of humanity. The great unwashed, all shoved together. I don't see 6 feet distance. I don't see anybody social distancing, and probably there's a bunch of them without masks on complaining that it's too dangerous to vote. They can go everywhere else. They can go out to eat. They can go to the park. They can go peacefully protest. They can do everything. They can go to Walmart. They can go to the grocery store. They can do everything. They can go to the post office. They can go everywhere. But they can't vote because that's dangerous. My gosh. No. No. How dare they ask us to vote in person? It's so dangerous. So let's all protest and squash, all thousands of us, all squashed together, the great unwashed, and yeah, let's protest this. We don't want to be close to people because we might get COVID. But and if we're close to people when we're voting, we'll get it. But if we're close to people when we're all, protesting, having to go and vote, then we won't get it. We're free from that because you know that COVID doesn't affect people that are peacefully protesting. All right, let's go on. Now, this should concern everyone, and I think I have shown this picture before. It says, can't focus on coming up with policies, too busy grabbing And you can read this for yourself. I don't want to read this on my show because, well, I think you can know why. So yes, I've seen this picture before. And look at the, I'm sorry, this is awful. And it's awful, but I look at the look on that baby like, what? You know, he knows he shouldn't be grabbed there. Babies aren't stupid. You can see the shock on the baby's face, like, you're grabbing me where? Huh? Yeah. He's a sick man. Who holds a baby that way? Really? Who? Especially if it's not your own. Well, even if it is your own, you better not be holding babies that way. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And yet, it's so believable. Okay, and this from Ryan Fortier. Report, multiple officers have been shot in Cedar Park, Texas. Now, I should have probably brought this to you. Did this happen today or yesterday? The last 2 days are like a blur to me. Anyway, suspect is barricaded in the home. Please pray for our law enforcement. And I shouldn't even have brought that because I haven't followed up on it to see what happened. But if any of you have, shame on me because I haven't. I put that there and I meant to check up on it to see because when I put that there, the story was unfolding and I haven't checked up on it. I need to. If any of you know what happened here, I don't know if those officers, if any of them have died or if they were wounded and, you know, hospitalized and released or what has happened. So, all right, let's go on here and let's look at this. All right, the mainstream media refuses to show what is really happening in New York City. It's in ruins. Watch this video and share. So hang on here. I'm going to make it bigger for my tiny phone people. But it says, Democrats destroy the cities, but you're racist if you escape to the suburbs. This was New York City after the peaceful demonstrations. Beirut de Blasio, the one-man wrecking ball. Yeah, that's exactly what he is. And let me make this bigger for my tiny phone people. All right, and let me have a glass of water because I'm thirsty. All right. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could drink water and talk at the same time? That would freak people out, wouldn't it? All right.
This is what the media did not show. Look at everything.
Hang on here. Hang on for 1 second because I've got to check my... There we go. I hope that that didn't affect the sound in my video. I really hope it didn't. So let's go back now. Alrighty.
This is what the media did not show. Look at everything. Everything for even the hotels boarded up. Look. This is all Manhattan, boarded up. Have you ever seen Manhattan look like this? The media will not report this. Look at Coach. Look at Manhattan. I'm just driving. Not one window left. Look at Microsoft. Gone. The media does not show it because this is what happened. Here's the Rolex store. Right there's the Rolex store. Look at it. Everything boarded up. Zara, boarded up. Ferragamo, gone. Look, everything's empty. Everything's in the box. Look, everything's boarded.
No stores open.
Boarded up. Look. They don't want to show this to you people. Because they're afraid. St. Patrick's Cathedral, not boarded up. They have no windows. Look at this, folks. This is Saks Fifth Avenue. Look. Boarded up from end to end. They put barbed wire. Check it out.
Wow.
Barbed wire. The media is all here.
And they have guards posted out front.
Look at the security. Security standing outside, 10 guys. Look at this. Puma, Don. Look. Everything gone. Welcome to Manhattan. Guy just went through the red light. Look at that. Boom. Nobody cares. Ted Baker, gone. H&M. AT&T. All the stores. Look. Look, folks, everywhere you see boards, windows are gone. Look. Look at this. Look. No, this was not a riot. This was not a riot, right? Look at this. Look at New York City, what happened. Here's the Adidas, the Nike store. Look, Nike, Adidas, Philippines, Oakleaf, Barnes & Noble. They even took books just to put it on eBay. Anything could sell, they took. Look. Look at this, folks. I'm on 45th Street. Look at the time. 4 minutes and 28 seconds. And
wow. Yeah, so now you know why people are leaving New York City en masse. It's like everywhere you look there, no windows. I didn't see any stores with windows. None. And most of those, I doubt those stores are even open. They may have lights on inside, but I doubt that they're open because, you know, when you look, the boards cover the whole thing. There's no entrance to even go into them. So these stores are all closed. They've run all these stores out of Manhattan. Unbelievable. Yeah. All right. Now, let's come back and let's look at this. This by Truly Times. Multiple people arrested for not wearing masks in OC grocery store. California, multiple people on Saturday were arrested for not wearing face masks inside of a Mother's Market in Costa Mesa. According to a woman who was cuffed, the store manager locked her and other maskless individuals in the store and called the police. How is that even legal? Over a dozen police officers showed up to the Orange County grocery store to arrest a few people for not wearing masks in public. Costa Mesa recently threatened to issue $100 fines for being in public without a mask. They locked the front door and I was already in the building, and then they locked us in, the cuffed woman screamed as police escorted her to the cruiser. Bystanders screamed at police officers, "You support tyranny." Well, quite evidently they do. California, multiple people arrested for not wearing masks. A few people decided to walk into the Mother's grocery store in Costa Mesa without a mask. The store manager then locked them in and called the police, who came in and arrested them for being in public without a mask. Now, okay, there's one thing to issue a fine, but they arrested them and they actually kidnapped them. Really, that's kidnapping when you are retaining people against their will, locking them in a store when they haven't done anything, they haven't stolen anything. Ridiculous. A heat wave is currently baking Southern California, yet authoritarian officials are still arresting and fining people for not wearing face masks. Now, I went to the grocery store today and I had a little cotton face mask on. I couldn't breathe in there. I really could not breathe, and I kept like having to go off somewhere in a row where there wasn't people and pull my mask down and breathe. It really restricts your oxygen flow. It's not healthy. And that's in an air-conditioned building. So imagine when you're out in that kind of heat. Just unbelievable. So let's look at this little video here. Let me see if I can make it bigger.
They locked the front door. Everybody in the building. They locked the front door.
Policemen do they need to arrest? I saw those two girls who, I mean, were tiny. Well, the one was medium size. The other one was really tiny. How many police officers? Well, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that another one over there? I think 7. I mean, and look at the vehicles that they have. They're like big riot vehicles or whatever. And really, there's no crime that they could be investigating? Or really, that many police officers to arrest a couple people that aren't wearing masks? Are you kidding me? I mean, these people look like they're prepared for a riot. How many officers are there? This is just unbelievable. And, you know, now they're not there to arrest somebody that has stolen. They're not there for armed robbery, rape, murder. But look at the way they're dressed. And look at how many there are. Really? It takes that many officers to arrest a couple girls? Really? Wow. I don't know. That's just flat out tyranny, fascism. It's unbelievable. They're forcing healthy people to wear masks. Usually, you know, the people that are sick are the ones that get the mask. They're the ones that get, you know, quarantined, not the healthy people. And certainly not for a virus that kills way less than 1% of the people that contract it. These people are insane. This is insane. All right, let's go back and look at this. Now, this is Barack Obama reportedly skeptical of Joe Biden's 2020 White House run. Well, why shouldn't he be? Yeah, I think he said, yes, it's in here. Barack Obama publicly endorsed presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden, but has privately expressed grave concerns about his former VP's 2020 White House run, a report said. This is what he apparently said. Don't underestimate Joe's ability to F things up, the former president told an unnamed Democrat who told Politico about the conversation, reportedly reflective of a strained history between the two. Former Obama administration officials painted the relationship as warm and genuinely close, but fraught with tension over the gap between Biden's old-school backslapping and Obama's hyper-prepared wonkiness, the outlet reported. Hyper-prepared wonkiness. Well, there you go. Not sure exactly what that means, but I guess Obama is hyper-prepared wonky. I don't know. So you could certainly see technocratic eye-rolling at times, according to the former White House communications director, Jen Psaki, who recalled other aides chortling at Biden's frequent gaffes and lack of discipline. The attitude contributed to Obama's decision to back Hillary Clinton for the party's 2016 nomination over Biden. Well, not much of an improvement, but okay. The president was not encouraging, Biden recalled in his 2017 memoir. When Biden threw in the hat in the 2020 presidential mix last year, Obama kept his distance for months and continued to talk him down behind the scenes. During the run-up to the year's Iowa caucus, one Biden rival told Politico Obama privately reminisced about the bond he formed with the state's voters during his 2008 campaign. But Biden struggled to gasp the electorate, number 44 reportedly said. You know who really doesn't have it? Joe Biden. The former commander-in-chief finally endorsed Biden on April 14th. He was probably instructed to. The former commander-in-chief finally, I believe Joe has all the qualities we need in a president right now, Obama said at the time. He's someone whose own life has taught him how to persevere. Okay, but you can't erase the fact that you said up here Don't underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. Yeah, I think that's probably more how you feel, Obama. Right. We're not buying it. Okay. Let's come on here. Go on. Continue on down. Yes. Let's look at this. I guess New Zealand posting online against government policies will put thought police at your front door. Well, isn't this special? First, they have quarantine camps. Now, if you post anything negative about the government, well, they'll show up at your door. Isn't that special? So let's take a look at this. I'm going to make it bigger for my tiny phone people. I love my tiny phone people. Have I told you that lately? Yes, I really do. All right, because I think if you're going to watch this on a tiny phone, you're a dedicated person. I'm just saying. So let's listen.
What do I want to talk to you about that for? Just so we can get some background on.
Okay, this is very low and it's hard to hear what they're saying. So I'm going to skip this, but know that if you're in New Zealand and you post anything against the government, well, expect knock, knock, knock on your door. All right. Makes me glad I'm not in New Zealand, even though it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. Yeah. And so is Canada, except for the people that run it. It's a wonderful country. All right. Let's go back, see what other trouble we can get into, because I'm sure there's a lot. All right. Now, yes. We need to look at this now. Yes, we do. We can, we should, and we will. Watch, squad member. Oh, crap. I hate when that does that. Watch, squad member calls for unrest in the streets. Well, isn't that nice? During an appearance on one of MSNBC's low-rated shows, squad member Ariana Presley called for unrest in American streets in response to the left's latest conspiracy theory that President Trump is using the Postal Service to somehow sabotage the November election, which is poppycock. And don't you think that's what we've had, is unrest in the streets? And she's calling for more. By the way, that video that was taken of the riot, and it was a riot, in Portland, Black Lives Matter, a man, I guess he was trying to get away from them, and he ran his truck into a pole, and they beat him senseless, and they kicked him in the head. It's on video. They kicked him in his head, and he was unconscious. He never regained consciousness, and he died, all while his apparently his very distraught wife looked on. Now, these people are animals. They are animals. And I don't care. I don't care how politically incorrect that is. Because anybody that would do that to an innocent person who was just trying to get out of the area, and then you could hear them saying, you pasty something, I don't know what they said, you pasty, whatever. It's awful. We're seeing them kill people. Beat them to death. And we're calling that peaceful protesting. Yes, well, I can do without the peaceful protesting. I don't know about you. Anyway, the need to be unrest, there needs to be unrest in the street for as long as there's unrest in our lives, and unfortunately there's plenty to go around, Presley declared on Saturday following weeks of violent left-wing riots in American cities. You know, any politician that is getting up and stating that and stoking the fires of this needs to be outed. Why do these people keep getting into office? Like, well, you know, I mean, people like Waters and Pelosi and Schumer, why do they keep getting in? I don't get it. All right. Presley, hang on here. I've lost my place. Hate when that happens. Presley instructed the violent leftists to continue to show up, saying that there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there is unrest in our lives, and unfortunately there's plenty to go around. Democrats keep finding excuses for the mob to riot. First it was police brutality, next it was racist statues, then it was systemic racism, now it's a conspiracy theory about the post office. What next? Really, what next? The violent mob does not need any more encouragement from its Democrat leaders. As Presley called for unrest, a mob of leftists were busy targeting the D.C. home of USPS Postmaster General Louis DeJoy and his family. The mob has been threatening, harassing, and intimidating government officials and their families, having targeted the home of acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf this past month. This is as much about public outcry and organizing and mobilizing and applying pressure so that this GOP-led Senate and these governors who continue to carry water for this administration, putting the American people in harm's way, turning a deaf ear to the needs of our families, our communities, hold them accountable, Presley stated. Somebody needs to hold her accountable. She is the one that's stoking the fires of racism and unrest, civil unrest. Does Presley's warped brain really believe that violent protests out on the streets, assaulting people, vandalizing property, attacking police officers, throwing explosives, breaking windows, destroying businesses, taking over entire neighborhoods, and frightening and harassing the families of government officials are somehow peoples in harm's way? Really? It's everyday Americans and members of the community whose lives are being destroyed because of the unrest in the streets. Presley doesn't care about her constituents or her communities. It's always been about the November election. With their latest conspiracy theory, Democrats are already planting the seeds to declare the results of the 2020 election illegitimate. Of course they are. Of course. If they got in, everything would be wonderful. But if Trump gets in, I bet you they'll make blood run in the streets. And that is sad. It's sad. They can't even accept, they're such whiny crybabies. I call them WSMs, whining, sniveling malcontents. That's what they are. They're such whining, sniveling malcontents that, if somebody gets elected that they don't like, we better riot in the streets. What planet are they from? Certainly not any planet where decent, God-fearing people live. Unhinged squad member, Democrat Representative Ariana Presley calls for targeting GOP officials with unrest in the street. What happened to her hair? Has she always been bald? I don't know. Does she shave her hair off? Why? What is it with leftist women? They try to appear as ugly as they possibly can. They want to absolutely take away any bit of femininity that they have, any bit of beauty, any bit of anything good they want out of their lives, and they try to make themselves as ugly and hideous as possible. I don't get it. All right, well, let's go on. And it's just about time to stop for this video, but I will hit on one more thing, and then I will get this uploaded and for you to peruse at your leisure. All right, here is the next item. Oh, well, look at that. They've taken it down, as Twitter does. That's what they're good at, making things disappear. All things conservative. Bye-bye. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm getting a little frustrated. Yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated, not with you guys, frustrated with what's going on. Nothing makes sense anymore. It's like we've walked into bizarro world, into flatland. I don't know where we've walked into, but up is down, down is up, black is white, white is black, good is evil, evil's good. I don't get it. Don't get it. Not so sure that I want to get it. All right, let's look at this. This by Donald J. Trump. If carefully done according to the guidelines, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. Vote at polling place. And that's a quote by Dr. Anthony Fauci. Wow, has he done a 180 or what? Yeah, I don't know. But he's now saying, yeah, it's safe to go and vote. What are you people nuts? Sure, it's safe to go and vote. Go on ahead. Won't hurt you. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Since we're going to Walmart and the grocery store and Target and wherever else we're going. We're shopping. We're, some places they're going to movies. They're going to the gym now. They're going to, not here, but because, we're like, I think we're further along in the New World Order. Anyway, so yeah, all that's safe. All that's safe. You can do all that. You can all crowd together on a beach. You can, all squash together in one big mass of humanity to protest, going to the polling booth instead of mail-in voting. Yeah, that's all fine. But if you go in person to a polling place, they're trying to sow fear that you're going to get COVID. And normal people would go, wait a minute, why would I get COVID any more there than anywhere else? Why wouldn't I get COVID down at the Walmart or at the post office or at the grocery store? Why wouldn't I get COVID there? Why do I only get COVID at the polling stations? What, are they giving it out for free? Here, cast your vote and get some COVID. What are they doing? They don't even know what they're doing. They're trying to sell these ideas that are so ridiculous, and the problem is that a good portion of America is so dumbed down that they go, yeah, I can't go and vote in person because I might get COVID. Better stay home and mail it. Yep, that's going to be a whole lot safer than going down to the polling station. Yep, and don't think I'm making fun of the Southern accent because I lived in the South for most of my adult life. But anyway, yeah, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. And here's the other thing. People are touching the envelopes, right? They have to open it. They have to put in their whatever. They have to close it. They lick it. They whatever. They stick a stamp on there. Well, if you've got COVID, you've got COVID all over the envelope. So I think it's safer to go in person and just vote. That's what I think. Yeah, they're not handing out COVID down at the polling stations. Really, they're not. You won't get it there. I mean, it's possible. But if you're safe to go to Walmart, you're really safe to go to the polling station. So there's my 2 cents on that. I know probably some of you don't appreciate my 2 cents, and some of you probably think it's only worth a penny and a quarter with inflation, but there you go. Now, I am going to stop here. I'm going to get this uploaded, and then I will be back. I know. So anyway, well, I hope I'll be back. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. I'm wide awake now. So, all right, let's get this uploaded and processed, because that always takes a long time. And let's hope that they actually let this be seen, because, well, All right, thank you guys so much. Remember, if you like the channel, you like the content, consider supporting it. And you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth, because deception bites. I love you guys. Talk to you later.